Welcome to Domain 1, Section 1.4, AI Use Cases. In this session, we will look at what AI is actually good for inside an organization, the everyday business problems it can solve, how to judge whether AI is even the right tool, why so many AI projects fail, and the real limits you must respect when using it. Why does this matter beyond the exam? Knowing strong use cases helps you back the AI projects most likely to pay off and to politely challenge the ones chasing hype. Understanding the failure patterns lets you spot a doomed project before the budget is spent, and knowing the limits keeps you from trusting an AI output that should never have been trusted in the first place. Let's set the foundation. AI runs on top of familiar computing building blocks, such as networks, connected devices, large pools of data, and cloud computing. Most recent progress comes from machine learning, a technique that lets computers learn from data instead of being told every rule by hand. The pattern is simple to picture. The system studies a large set of examples, builds a model of what it sees, and then applies that model to brand new data to make a prediction or sort an input into a category. What makes AI different from ordinary software is the sheer volume and complexity of data it can pull from many sources, often far more than a human could process. This changes governance in three ways. It can automate decisions rather than just follow fixed instructions. It leans on data, learning, and pattern finding instead of rigid logic. And it can adapt as its environment changes in ways that were never explicitly written down and are not always known in advance. Let's look at concrete use cases, starting with three. The first is automatic content creation, where generative AI drafts articles, posts, or campaigns from a written prompt, saving time on routine writing. The second is faster software development, where coding assistants suggest solutions or generate snippets so developers move quicker. And the third is personalization, where AI tailors suggestions to an individual's tastes, much like a good local shopkeeper who remembers what each regular customer likes. Here are three more. The fourth use case is formatting and summarizing information, where AI condenses long documents into clear, useful summaries. The fifth is improving dataset quality, where AI generates extra variations of existing data, so a model trains on a richer range of situations, such as adding different weather or lighting to a set of images. And the sixth is better customer service, where AI assistants understand the context of a conversation and resolve common questions naturally, around the clock. It also helps to recognize the standard families of business problems AI can tackle. Classification sorts things into discrete categories, like flagging a message as spam or not. Regression predicts a continuous number, like an expected utility bill. Clustering groups similar items together, like dividing customers into natural segments. Dimensionality reduction trims a tangle of variables down to the few that matter. Anomaly detection flags data that breaks the normal pattern, which is useful for catching fraud. Recommendation systems suggest what someone is likely to want next. And reinforcement learning finds the best sequence of actions by learning from rewards, which suits robotics and game playing. Before adopting AI, ask a blunt question. Is AI truly needed here? Or would a simpler, non-AI solution do the job better? This matters because many AI projects fail, and the most common reason is a business use case that was never a good fit for AI in the first place. Failures usually trace back to people, process, and data problems. The recurring causes are worth memorizing. They are misunderstanding or miscommunicating the problem, a lack of quality data, not actually solving the business problem, inadequate infrastructure to run the models, and applying AI to problems that are simply too hard for it. The flip side is that good use cases drive a clear return on investment. The trick is to align the use case with what genuinely creates value for the organization and its customers. When that alignment is right, organizations have used AI well to strengthen customer support, produce marketing content, bolster cybersecurity, and lift everyday productivity. Now let's be honest about the limits, starting with three. The first limit is unexpected results, where unclear prompts lead the AI astray, which is why instructions should be precise and give clear context. The second is inaccurate or inappropriate results, where the AI produces output that does not match reality, which is dangerous if that output is then used to train other models without human review. And the third is lack of context, because AI only knows what it was trained on, so very specific or very recent questions can yield outdated or simply wrong answers. Here are the remaining limits. The fourth is response constraints, where built-in guardrails stop the model producing certain content, which sometimes blocks legitimate uses too. The fifth is bias, where skewed training data produces skewed answers even when the prompt is perfectly fair. The sixth is token limits, a cap on how much text the model can hold in mind at once. So in a long conversation, it eventually forgets earlier details. And the seventh is confusion and hallucination, the real risk that the AI states fabricated information with total confidence. Let's bring it all together. AI is built on machine learning that finds patterns in large amounts of data, and it changes governance by automating decisions and adapting on its own. It shines in use cases like content creation, coding help, personalization, summarizing, data enrichment, and customer service. And it maps neatly onto problem types like classification, regression, clustering, anomaly detection, and recommendation. But AI is not always the answer. Projects fail when the use case, the data, or the infrastructure is wrong. And even a good system carries real limits, from bias and token limits to outright hallucination. You now know how to judge an AI use case on its merits. Every important topic and idea from this session is covered in the multiple choice questions on RooCloud.com. Before you move on to the next session, work through the chapter-wise questions there, because applying these ideas to practice questions is the best way to make them exam ready. Practice first, and then move forward with confidence. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.